I can now hear you.
Yeah, so that was the plan, was to build all the rewrite out. So I aimed for the ling pressure, and then whilst I was doing that, I thought I could maybe kill him, and then I started to play, and I was like, yeah, I won't be able to kill him, but I can do a ton of eco damage. So then I did that, and then I just sort of lost the plot a bit and went, it's gonna make shit and kill him.
And was that with the Zergling push that this happened, or the Roach Zergling push?
No, just the Zerling pressure at the start.
Cool. So I think a really good way to break that down, even before I look at what happens here,
Mm,
I know one of the suggestions is when you're first learning it, put a little bit more priority on your macro rather than your micro. So the great
yep,
thing of having it all mapped out like this, and we're talking about kind of having the next step mapped out ahead of time,
yep.
starting to learn set builds, right? Rather than before you were learning a lot of the fundamentals really free flowing. You were kind of just reacting by
So
feel,
yeah,
doing
totally winging
stuff.
it.
Exactly. So a cool thing here is to really say, okay, you know your game plan. I've written it down for you. You've got it in your document, which you already have open, which is why I
Yep.
can tell you're super prepared, which is amazing. But it's something where you're still not going to be mechanically able to recall and do that because you don't have the muscle memory of that transition, right? You don't have like
Yeah.
the trigger in your brain that says, cool, lings are attacking. As soon as they have a moment, like, oh, while that's happening, build drones, build overlords. As soon as the link pressure's done, bam, drop the roach one in the second gas, build roaches, build more zerglings, go for the next wave. You haven't
Yeah.
built that, right? So
No,
if
I forgot
yep,
quite a few. But that's it's gonna take me. Yeah, why I've sort of been practicing custom games is I just get so. But yeah, like I'm pretty happy with this game. The progress, like it feels like you notice I didn't do a 12 hatchery, so there's a
exactly. Already. I was actually
so
just about to go back and double check that, but yeah. So, let me just finish that thought.
yep,
So, whenever you're practicing a build like this, make sure a really simple thing you can do is remember we don't care about winning or losing. So, what's the best way to
yep,
practice it? A move the Zerglings. So you got your Zerglings out; they're all ready to go. Cool. Attack move them.
yep.
Don't even look at it. And that's
Okay,
like
yeah,
that's going to take real self control.
yep.
And sometimes they'll run and they'll just die to a couple banelings. But you know what's funny? Until you get to maybe mid diamond or above, as long as you're spending your money really well behind that, on
Yeah,
average, you're going to end up way ahead by actually watching at home. Like
yeah,
on average, it's actually
yeah,
insane. So the idea there is we prioritize, okay, what's the next step? What's the order of our buildings? What's the order of our macro? And we grind that for just a couple games. And then we say, cool, I feel a bit more natural with it. Now let's actually watch the Zerglings. But remember, whenever we enter a micro situation, we kind of have a timer in our head. So
yep,
maybe we watch our Zerglings when they go in. Maybe we say, I can micro for 10 or 15 seconds. But after that time, I either just run them out of their base or I just A move them and let them do their thing. And I go back and spend money because we know the longer we're not looking at our home, the more trouble we're going to be in.
yeah.
So,
That was.
yeah.
Sorry, you go.
No. So just to round it up, basically, yeah, it's just this idea of really prioritize the macro follow up, and then we can start to get better and better at the micro as we continue.
Yep,
So little tip here with your
yep,
first hatchery. Let's go through like the little basics of the opening. Notice how the hatchery we already had the money for it for a little bit. What you can do is if you do this opening really nice with 13 overlord. Did we do a 13? I think we did our overlord a little bit late. Let's take a look. I think we did a 14 overlord. Let's
yeah,
take a glance.
yeah,
So normally we'd build an overlord here. Yeah, we built a second drone. So try to always go 13 overlord.
yep. Roger.
Awesome. I'll write it all down as well. Okay, so 13 overlord. And then what you can do, right, is run your 15th or 16th drone straight to the natural. So because this overlord's late, it wouldn't work. But basically, you see when your overlord pops, you start two
Yep,
drones and then another drone. One of those
yep,
first two eggs, those are your 15th and 16th drones. If one
yep.
of those rallied down there, it would get there right as you have 300 minerals. So it's
Nice.
those two drones just there, whereas you rallied the one that was like a little bit after, and we can
Yep,
see it gets there a few seconds after. Not the
yep.
biggest deal, but just like one of these cool little details we want to
Yeah, no,
focus on.
yeah, man, I want
Yeah,
to tighten them up. So, yep, I'll do
hells
that.
yeah. So we should be going gas and pool on these two. It looks like you're doing it, which is great. Another little tidbit for Zerg versus Zerg.
Yep,
If you want, you can use that spawning pool as a wall, as a semi-wall. So basically what you do is if you put that directly just to the right of the gas and down a single space,
Yep.
it would create a semi-wall, and you can plug a queen between the spawning pool and the hatchery. And if your opponent just attack moves
Oh, yeah,
Zerglings,
nice.
only
Yeah.
two can attack at a time, and that's
Yeah, and they've got to move. Yeah.
exactly. And a lot of the time they won't be watching, and they'll just have an attack moved. And even if they run around, then they kind of have to go in the middle of your drones, and your drones can turn and fight once they get on the queen, and you can kind of have a natural surround happen.
I like it.
These little details in Zerg vs Zerg are huge. Like other things,
Oh,
you see
yeah.
all the little gaps between the minerals. You see
Yep.
how between minerals there's a little gap. Those are natural queen safety spots. So if you're ever in a spot of bother, but there's a little spot next to you, you just move the queen and hold position it between one of those little gaps.
And I can't get the surface area.
Yeah, and it'll buy you time. There's little things like that. Are
Yeah,
like
that's what I
game
love.
winning in
I
this
love
matchup.
that's what I want to know. All the little like that.
Hells yeah, it's really
Like-
cool.
I like
And
the
ZVZ,
details.
you're always going to get Zerglings in your base. So you get this is the
Oh, yeah.
matchup where Zerg players always have the best worker micro because they always have shit going down in their base. So it's like it's actually it's like you can learn to micro probes once in a while versus an early pool. It's useful. Running away from Hellions and splitting them is okay, but like as a Zerg, you're like, nah, there's always Hellions running around your base, there's Zerglings in your base. It's really good practice, so good shit, man. So opening's pretty good there. We've pulled 2 workers off gas, we got our 2 queens out, we're injecting. Now, with our overlords, we don't really have a ton of vision, but we do see he's got an expansion right now, so would definitely be really nice if we had here in Zerg vs Zerg. See where I signal?
Yeah. Yep.
So there and there means you'll see anything that comes out of his base, and you'll see if he takes a third base with either of those overlords as well. So normally in ZVZ, getting 2 overlords across the map just to see if, oh shit, there's a ton of stuff coming my way is really nice. And then you can prioritize these overlords, because these 2 you've got at home are really nice, but we can put those there just a little bit later in the game as well.
Okay. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. I'll put that one on the bottom left. The furthest bottom left overlord down. I've had quite a few sneaky little fucking link buys through there.
Yes, exactly.
I think that's a learned habit from being attacked from there a few times. But I'll do it.
So you can see, let's take a look at this. So we mass Zerglings, but I think we've taken a little while to move out with this. So let's let's check.
Like
So
I said, it was pretty sloppy, but I feel that it
overall, it already looks a lot better.
better.
It looks way better than what I saw last week already. Just like you've got more stuff. But let's take a look. Are we control grouping the eggs? We're not. So like just then, we just control grouped a bunch of eggs, but we didn't control group the units that were already out.
Yeah.
And we've like control grouped. I think we might have put drones. Or we did put overlords and a drone
Put 2
on our army.
overlords. Yeah, I was
accidentally.
like, oh fuck, why are there overlords in my army?
Yeah, always got to build Zerglings separate from drones and overlords, right? That's like one of those habits. Oh shit, I just misclicked. Whoops. Okay.
Yeah, so I noticed I have. Well, I think I did rally my army in this. I just fucked it up a few times. I think, but I can't remember games for some reason after them.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that goes on, a lot of intensity, and that's why it's really good to practice more in game and just kind of practice. Oh, let's look at this replay, like because when you're playing an opponent, it's very easy then to like get in your own head. So the more practice we have against opponents, the more the adrenaline's gonna fade away, and we can start to get rid of the rush and instead focus more on like execution and stuff.
That's the thing, man. Like, just that. It's really quite surprised me how much of a rush it actually gives me.
Exactly, and that's dangerous, right? Because it's like adrenaline can be useful if you're running for your life or something, if you're running from a lion, but it's not very useful when we're playing StarCraft or, most sports as well. You don't really want adrenaline because you're gonna not be able to have as good fine motor skills because the blood runs out of your extremities, right? As part of the fight or flight response. So if you're getting that while you're playing and you're getting an adrenaline rush, you're getting blood running out of your fingertips, you're going to start fat fingering your keyboard, fat fingering your mouse. You're clicking things like 12 times that need to be clicked once and stuff. Yeah. So sometimes the ability to take a deep breath and calm down can really help us out in these moments. So anyways, you're doing pretty good up to this point. It's just, let's see, it took a while to start building this extra round of Zerglings. Just a little bit, but I think, how long? I think that lava just popped out, so I think it's only a few seconds. Let's take a glance back a few seconds. All right, so yeah, we've gone up to 34 supply. From there, we're going to build a ton of Zerglings. So let's take a look at this. So we should be building them right now. Like, we got all that lava's just popped out. Let's take a look at what we did in game. So we got 12 more Zerglings. We had a few Overlords. We didn't add the eggs to our control group. That was what we already pointed out before. We then kind of...
I think, well, I can't really remember. I think the first few units I make, I actually just forgot to do the egg thing. I think in the next couple of minutes I should have got better at doing it, but we'll see.
Cool. Yeah, because you can see you tried to make it up
Yeah,
here by manually clicking on the eggs on screen.
That's what I realized. I was like,
yeah. just don't do that one, because then you get the drones and the overlords, so that's fine. Yeah. So anyway, we go across the map.
Found out.
Yeah. So we're gonna go.
Hey, there's a drone there. Didn't even see.
So we actually built another round of Zerglings here, which isn't really part of the build, right? Remember, it's just that first big wave up to about. If we look at the build order, can you remember off the top of your head where we build Zerglings to?
34 to 44.
Yeah. So right now you're going up to 50 supply and potentially above on Zerglings. And the whole point is that's going to carry you off your initial game plan, right? Because normally we'd already be on our way across the map, and we're already going, okay, more drones, more overlords, and then we can add the roach warrant, the second gas, and go into it. But as soon as we go off book, we might get a bit carried away. Also, did we do another round of injects? We did. We're going to drop the roach warrant, but we haven't started droning yet, and we're still building Zerglings.
And fucked up.
Yeah, and we're not control grouping in them either. So, you're kind of rallying them, I think. Let's take a look. No, you did control group some of them. Yeah. Cool.
So, like I said, I think I got it. I think I really fucked it up at the start. I did it a couple of times. But like I said, pretty sloppy with that. Cool.
So when you first engaged, you attack moved, which was great. But here you made a mistake. You clicked on the spine crawler. Never target fire anything. Notice how most of your lings are just running around in a circle. And all of his Zerglings are doing a massive amount of damage. So only so many of your lings could actually hit the spine crawler there. And the thing is, lings are super high damage units. So you would have killed... When you have more lings, like here, look at how quickly his lings die. Super awesome fight for you. Yeah. But the moment you stop attacking them, like you could have killed them with an attack move in 2 seconds, your units would have naturally attacked the spine. This is an example of a game where if you weren't watching, you A-moved your lings across the map and you just didn't even look at it, you would have won the game. 100% here. So your micro actually hurt you here, and that's really common. It's super common. That player's micro, and they end up getting less efficiency. But watch these Zerglings of your opponent. Look at how many hits they're getting off here. And your lings are just all trying to attack the spine. So very rarely do we want to target fire anything. If we do, it's usually we'll box a few Zerglings near the target and click them on it. Like if there's a Baneling cocoon, we might box some of our Zerglings, click them on the Baneling cocoon to stop it morphing. But we don't want to tell everyone to click on it, because otherwise you're going to have only so many units that can actually do the command. The rest are all just running around, butting heads. So you do manage getting on top of that. And we've got a drone in here, of course. Love it.
Hero drone.
The hero. And yeah, just an attack move would be fine here. But let's see what happens. So you can see, you didn't attack move. You're clicking into the main base. Then we clicked on the lair. Now we moved into the mineral line, but you've clicked on an individual drone again, which is why your units were trying to move command past. You do end up A-moving and then getting a really good fight. It just could have started a little bit earlier. So it's good to move in and get the surround sometimes and that sort of stuff.
Yep.
But for the most part, attack moving is perfectly fine. Like even here, we're actually, I think we were focusing on a roach there again. Yeah. So definitely try to break that habit. This is something everyone does when they're newish to StarCraft for quite a few months, until someone's like, nope, stop doing it, just A-move.
Don't worry. It's broken.
Yeah. Good. I mean, you've won the game at this point, but we're still rallying Zerglings. We're still staring at this. Let's take a look at home. We did do an inject at some point, which is nice, but just remember, it should have been, check it out, even if we were really advanced and we have like a lot of practice with this build. So this is 2 minutes later, you're still staring at it.
Yep.
Or a minute and a half, actually, sorry. So if we were really experienced, we might look at it as we get to his base, right? So we'd attack move across the map.
Yep.
And then while that's happening, we're building drones. So we're building drones. All right, let's drop a second gas, a roach warren, build some overlords. Okie doke, we're doing all that. Moving those drones around. Okay, let's look at our lings as we go in. You're like, okay, cool, let's look at it. Nothing I need to micro here. Attack move, and you'd go look home. And you know, even as an advanced player, you do that. Or maybe you'd say, you know what? I'll look at it for a few seconds longer. All right, we'll A move, clear that up. And then you might like split your lings into both bases, or just say, all right, let's just get these queens. So you just attack move. But at some point within 10, 15, 20 seconds at the absolute most of engaging, we always want to go home and just say, let's just go focus on the next step.
Okay.
But because you're rallying more Zerglings and you didn't start your next step, that's incentivizing you to be, oh, I'm committing even more to this, so I should look at it. I got to get damage done. Whereas we could be up at 35 drones. We could have our Roach Warren. Our Roach Warren is almost finished, but we don't have that much gas. We could have a second gas as well, so then we can make lots of Roaches and Ravagers. So just that sort of clean game plan following is huge. And the ability to attack move, look away from it, so good for training us to like I said earlier, change the goalposts. But changing the goalposts is going to be really good for helping you get rid of the adrenaline and the shakiness and the excitement and getting carried away and losing our head. Because losing our cool is going to really hurt us. So let's see what happens next in this game.
Can you rally multiple aim moves? So I could say, for example, like aim move into the natural, and then can I queue another aim move command after that, or it doesn't really work like that?
You can, but they will have to kill everything near the first attack move command, right? So they'll have to kill the hatchery, the lava, everything. So the thing is, just attack moving to their main base. They're gonna they're gonna have to go through the natural anyway, right?
Yeah,
so
it
achieves the exact same thing. So if you just
Sorry.
No, continue.
So what I reckon I should have done, A move in here, if killed all the drones, then I should have just moved A move straight to the main, yeah?
Yeah, well, once you'd killed the drones in the natural, you could have moved into the main, right-clicked into the main, and then attack moved once you're up there. Yeah, for sure.
Okay, cool. Yep.
Yeah. So that would have been like the ideal micromanage, just like clear the base. Oh, okay, not really worth killing the hatch. Let's go get the drones, better target, etc. Go from there. So anyway, we're way up on economy, but we've forgotten to put on gas. So you can see your super gas stuff. You never put back even on your first gas geyser. So you've been mining with one drone this entire time.
That's what I sort of wrote like a question as I think of stuff. So putting the two drones back on the gas, when do you do it?
Good question. So that's a good question. I don't think we wrote that down. When do you think you would do it? So remember in StarCraft,
no idea.
It's always this is important. Doesn't matter if you have no idea. Confidence when we don't know what to do. Make a confident decision. Try it out and go with it is one of the best things.
What I had been doing. So pulling drones off the main gap, building up the expansion. So keeping 16 drones on main, and then when I build up when I actually drone properly and not fuck it up like this game, I build the two gases here, and then when the drones run out, when the mine starts to run, minerals start to run out the main, that's when I put the gases back on.
Sorry, when the minerals start to run out? Do you mean like
so you do when you're oversaturated drones?
Oh, so you mean when you get too many workers in the main base?
Yeah. So that's what I had been doing. I was like, kind of.
Yeah, well, we want to do it a little bit earlier than that. We want to just have a set timing because we want to build roaches basically the way this times out. So let's go back in this game and I'll give you an idea. So if we push out about 3:30 when ling speed finishes, just a little bit after that as our lings flood out, right? So say about 3:45, 4 minutes. Like we can flood across at this moment, right?
Yep.
If we're already droning and taking just a second gas, we don't need two more gases, we can already basically one round of drones and then we're building roaches essentially, or the overlords and then the roaches and the zerglings. It's not a lot of time. We can be pushing out with our big roach zergling attack like 2 minutes from now at the absolute most, like 6 minutes with like 12 roaches and a ton of other stuff, okay? So basically you can come as a general rule like, let's just put back on gas. We could say, well, if we're going to be building those roaches at like 5:30 or something, we need the gas. So we could say when we move out with our zerglings, put back on gas, take the second gas, take the roach horn, right? And that's like a real simple way of just kind of organizing that for us is we can just say, okay, At the moment in our build order, if we look at the list, it says take a second gas and roach horn, second gas, and put back on gas.
So where do the drones come from? Do you take them from your expo? Because if you take them from the main, obviously you're two down, or do you oversaturate in preparation for putting two back, or?
So that's good you're thinking about that. And you're thinking about, okay, wait, do we just go a bit under? We always do want to keep that on 16 until the minerals actually start to disappear. So often what you do is you would just, you could grab 2 from your natural, but often you'll build a big round of drones, and if you've got the spare APM. So often what we'd do, excuse me, sorry, my throat's terrible today, is we might actually select our main hatchery manually. So we might click on that. As our lings are moving across the map, I might click it, build 2 lava, right click on the extractor. Then reselect my hatcheries, build a big fat round of drones, and just manually pull 3 off the natural, send them onto the gas. Because both of our rally points are down to our natural, so it's okay to just pull them off there because the drone's naturally going to replace it. So you can use that technique. If you're like, lots of shit's going down, often we don't remember to do that, so we might just pull off the minerals in the main and put them on the gas. That's also fine. But what can we do when we get a moment? We'll click that hatchery. As part of our lava cycle, we'll go build 2 drones, click them on the minerals to replace the 2 that we pulled off. So we can fix that up. With this sort of build, it's not too important to worry about that because we're going for, a big all-in attack basically with a roach ling. So if we're down 2 drones, that's fine because we're not even necessarily going to fully saturate our natural mineral line. So ideally, at this point, imagine we didn't keep rallying lings. We would have maybe 14 drones on the natural mining minerals. So 12 to 14 on minerals. We'd have a second gas mining. We'd have the gas mining in the main. And off that, we'd just be like, overlords, and then tons of roaches, tons of lings, let's go. And we'd just kind of commit nice and decisively to that, and it would work out pretty well. So that can work out real nice. Yep.
3 gases?
Just 2. Remember, it's just a second gas of the roach horn. Yep. So we're hitting really, really hard and fast. And if we actually put back on gas at the same time as that, then we'll have plenty of gas to build heaps of roaches. Like we could even, simplify this build even more, but I think it's really good practice to get in the habit of putting dudes on gas, taking an extra gas, taking them off, taking them on. It's just more efficient and it's a good skill. So we see here at this point, you stabilize your way ahead. Takes us forever to remember to put on gas. And then at this point, we're not rallying Zerglings. The whole point of the roach speedling follow-up is you build a big pack of roaches. They're slow, they're shit. We don't want to reinforce them. Like they're shit for reinforcing is what I mean. But they're very slow, right? So as we build a big pack, we get them together, we move out, and then we rally speedlings because they're really fast. And we do start doing that here, but you can see we're just a little bit slow to get it all together and going. Yeah. And the thing is, look at your opponent's economy. You're infinitely ahead. You're at more than 3 times his work. It's like, there is no way this game should go for another 3 minutes, right? We should just be already moving in. We should be building more Zerglings. We should be injecting and committing really hard to this. So if we take a look at your camera at this point, we go, okay, shit, I'm supply blocked. You started 5 overlords. Now you're thinking about pushing in. You're bouncing between your bases, but once again, we aren't pushing in. We've spent a lot of time building up to this moment. And then when we do push in, it's not bad. We did kind of group up before we went in. But notice how your lings engage a bit ahead of your roaches. So we can look at that and say, okay, a nice way we could maybe do that in future is we could control click on the Zerglings and pull them back, let the roaches engage, and then bring the Zerglings in would be a nice way to do it.
All right. Yep.
Do you use control click much, or do you tend to double click?
No, I use control.
Awesome. Control click's awesome. Just such a good tool. So we try to dodge the bile there. So we saw another habit of you microing by pulling the whole control group. So I would rather you eat that corrosive bile than do that. Okay. So as a general rule, you're not allowed to micro your battles with the control group. If you want to micro anything, most of the time, like not always, I'm not going to make it a rule. I'm not going to make it a rule because it could handicap you in some scenarios. I was going to say, just try to only box units most of the time. Like 90% of the time, it's like just there, we just needed to box those 4 or 5 roaches on the bottom. Maybe we're not that good with our mouse. Maybe we accidentally box 7 or 8 roaches and move them. But notice how all of our Zerglings, all the roaches in the north, which weren't even threatened by the bile.
Yeah. I was pulling off units from it. They should be.
Yeah, and there we go. We just disengaged with our whole army again. Yeah. And we ended up eating the bile anyway. So, like, if we just attack moved this fight, we would have won the game again. Yeah. So this is the second round where just attack moving would have been better than our micro. So that's the thing with StarCraft is micro is always imperfect. But you actually want to do less rather than more, right? Because it's that thing we were talking about before, where if you're not looking at home and you're not macroing properly, you're getting taxed for putting your attention here. If you then actually end up microing your units worse than they would have if you just attack moved, then that's like double tax, right? You're getting taxed on two fronts, the macro and the micro. So it's actually okay to take shit fights. Like shit fights are totally fine. And that's going to be a really good thing that we just start embracing. Like we've had enough units to beat him, but you're just sitting here and you've given him about a minute to build up an army that can actually hold on. And like we're going to finally kill him as we reinforce, but we're just not being decisive. And if you ever find yourself just sitting outside your opponent's base, not really sure what you're doing, which is what this looks like for the last minute and a half, go home or commit with everything and just choose one and don't worry about being wrong. One of the best things StarCraft teaches us is decisiveness and confidence is better for us. And even if we make the wrong decision in this game and we just commit, it gives us a learning opportunity. But if we sit there going, oh, what am I doing? Am I doing this? There's nothing to learn from this decision in the game other than don't be a sissy. Just fucking do something, right? It can be the terribly wrong decision and we can learn from that decision. But the moment we end up like locked in this moment of like moving back and forth or sitting outside their base, we just kind of, we always have nothing to learn because it's like, well, next time I'm indecisive and don't make a decision, what decision should I make? And it's like, well, the correct decision was just to make one. We don't know which one was the right decision without actually testing it out ourselves, right? So a lot of hopping on the ladder is experimenting, seeing what works, and nothing has a 100% success rate. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and we've just got to be unafraid to try. And that's like a really thing, which a big thing, which you have to. I think that's what StarCraft forces us to do more than any other multiplayer game. Because it's like there's so many scenarios where, and I get this whenever I try a new strategy game where we go, oh, but what's the right decision? I want to make the right decision so I can learn to play properly. And it's like, well, there's 46 billion different combinations of situations based on the physics engine, the timings, how much economy versus army versus upgrades is invested. It's impossible for our brain to know every option. And it's a game of imperfect information. So we never really know exactly what our opponent's doing. So it is impossible to have a best possible option. There is no best option, right? It's just about kind of steadily learning to understand what works for us, what doesn't. Oh, if I do this, I've got to watch out for this next thing because that sometimes gets me, that sort of thing. So it's just like understanding the paths rather than choosing the right paths. If we think of our learning process that way, I think we'll be in like a really good mindset.
Yeah, that's quite interesting, that game, because I would never have thought to not micro and just move stuff. For some reason that never occurred to me.
Well, it doesn't, right? It's natural to want to watch your shit kill their shit and try to make your shit kill their shit properly. And the thing is, there are times where not microing will get you terribly punished, right? So this is not like a long-term thing where it's like, never look at your stuff. But it's more just like we're going to train ourselves to be very selective. Like, I got to dodge with those guys to move out of the bile, right?
More efficient. Yeah.
Exactly. Like, less is more. So try to only micro units by boxing manually.
Yep.
Rather than using the whole control group. So that's a good kind of way to think of it. Awesome. All right. So I would like us to practice this build order again. So if you can make me the party leader, that would be great. And let me... we're on best match, so it should put us on the Australian server. If we have any Zerg friends in chat who are about 3k MMR, hit us up, hop in a chat channel, Pig or Piggy on the NA server, and come play a map with us. For now, we're just going to practice the build first against no opponent. Well, actually, we'll do it against an AI, but we're just going to commit and do it. So, all right, we'll do an AI, just so we don't have the few seconds at the start. And we're going to do, elite AI, economic. No worries. It's not about winning. It's about focusing on what we do. Elite AI can actually be pretty good. So if it plays the right way... oh,
no, it's kicked my ass many times.
Oh, yeah. So it's a Zerg. It's doing any build. We don't know what it's doing. We'll see how it goes. And that should be awesome. All right. So just do the build order. Off the top of your head, remember to go 13 Overlord to start out. Yep. And then... after that Overlord pops, one of the first drones we build can rally down to build our hatchery.
Oh, fuck. Good start.
So yeah, you can tell that's like a muscle memory thing, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Those are the things you got to like open up your replays and study those after today and be like, oh, I did it again. And you got to just be like repeating to yourself whenever the match starts. Remember to do that. Remember to build the 13 Overlord and do it a bunch of games in a row, and then you'll get it down and it'll become automatic real quick. All right. So, yep. This other Overlord sitting above your hatch, it should also be going across the map. Remember, we want 2 outside their base so we can watch both exits. Both our Overlords should be on their ways across the other side. Let's get that hatch down, though. More drones, more drones. And get those Overlords across the map. Good stuff, good stuff. Let's rally the eggs to the gas in the pool. Remember that pool? We'll do that little semi-wall so we can build it next to the gas.
Yep. Yep. I actually remember that. Uh, 19 over.
Yeah, 19 Overlord for the win. He's Platinum 3, guys, so we need someone who's really like down around 3k, something like someone who's right down around 3k MMR. We don't want anyone higher than that. All right, keep droning for now. We should already have our rally point down to our natural because your main's done, so try to set everything up ahead of time. Good stuff.
I actually did that. Amazing how fast.
We can use M-Best Pony potentially if no one else is around. We'll see. Where are those queens? Let's go. Yep. You used to go for a really fast gas, so you're a bit focused on the ling speed there. Much more important the moment that spawning pool finishes to make those queens, and usually a couple Zerglings for safety as well, remember. But that's all right. Let's go take that third base. Should already have the drone going down there. All right, we need to build one more Overlord, remember? Yeah. So we can build 2 more drones. Remember, we're going to go 33 or 34 supply. So just about 2 more drones, and then from there it's going to be non-stop Zerglings. And we're going to try and make sure when we build those Zerglings, we throw them right into our control group, and it should be awesome. NA server, all you need to do is click in your chat box and go /join space pig. It's not a group. Yeah. I don't use chat groups at all. I just use the chat channels, which you just type to join. Yeah, you type it in your chat, not in your groups menu. Did you just build 2 more drones? You just built 2 more drones.
Move out now, yeah.
We didn't build our Zerglings yet, but yes, you can just attack move with those. You forgot to build Zerglings. You kept building more drones. So you can still just attack move all of these Zerglings across the map. So you can already start the attack now if you want, but just A move them, and remember you need to keep droning. You need to build a Roach Warren and a second gas.
Pay attention to your army. It's under attack.
Ignore Loco's voice. Do not pay attention to your army.
Okay.
Remember, we're meant to put guys back on gas as well. Same time as that Roach Warren and second gas. Yep, good job, good job. Very nice. We put workers on the other gas straight away. It's okay to do that before it finishes. A lot of people wait till it finishes.
Yep.
You can already do that when it's halfway done. Just get these tasks done ahead of time. And what are we going to build when that Roach Warren finishes? Tons of roaches. So maybe 1 or 2 more Overlords at most. But we're not building anything else until the Roach Warren's done. We're going to make as many roaches as we can.
Yep.
As many Zerglings. We're going to move across the map. We're going to launch a huge attack. Just non-stop Zerglings reinforcing it, okay? And we are allowed to micro that attack, but we're going to do it by boxing if possible.
Look at that.
Hey, Chemical Nova. You about to leave? No worries, mate. It's all good.
So roaches way drones now.
Nope, Zerglings, remember? It's just roaches and Zerglings. We're going completely all in. Yeah.
All right, yeah.
We're going all in. Everything's being committed. So as these roaches get out and gather up, you can start moving across the map. And what are we doing behind it? Just non-stop Zerglings. So let's go across this map. Let's go. Roaches are out. Can't dilly-dally. So go get set up in a big group outside their base. Keep rallying Zerglings non-stop. And yeah. So one more round of injects. Don't ever be staring at your army too much. Yeah. Make sure you're injecting while your army's moving across. Once you get there, then you can focus on the army. Good luck. Go for it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm dead.
Yep. Remember, it wasn't about winning. It was about committing to the build decisively. It is 6 minutes in, and we're committing to this build. You would have ruffle stomped. You would have waffle stomped your previous opponent from that replay. And you can see you're almost overwhelming here. Just being decisive with that is huge. So keep injecting, keep building Zerglings, keep going across this map. Remember, we can move those eggs across. You're actually breaking through, dude. Get going. Get everything across that map right now. You've got everything's control group. No reason why you shouldn't have your rally point on the other side of the map as well. If you're going for an all-in attack, you put that rally point over there. Let's kick our opponent's face in, man. Let's go. Still not bringing his Zerglings, man. He's control grouping them, but you need to actually right-click.
Definitely forgot to control group most of my army there.
You're actually doing okay with it. You keep attack moving, which is great, but you need to right-click as well, because an egg can't get an attack move command, because it's an egg.
Yeah.
So each time you attack move, they're not getting the orders, so they're just going to the rally point. So it's great that you're attack moving more now, but you do need to remember to actually right-click once in a while, just so the new shit that you've built will actually get a move command order to come to the front. Just one of those real little things. Keep massing Zerglings, keep injecting, keep going. Having a decisive focus, very important. And we can just keep attack moving, just keep rallying. Zerglings, Zerglings, Zerglings. We can fuck this elite AI up. Good shit, man. Control group, don't micro. Why mic the group then? So you can double tap the group, man. So you can attack move it to the correct location. So your reinforcements can automatically go across the map. Our micro is still there. Our micro is moving our shit into the right general area, so then we cannot micro it.
Your units are taking damage.
Oh my
Mineral
god.
field
You can feel this rhythm, right? Where when we simplify our focus to me make Zerg, me A move, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
what do I do with my time then? Inject, 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 build units, build units, build units, keep rallying, keep rallying. And you can see this, you can feel this intensity, right, of doing this.
Yeah.
And just having good production cycles here and just committing really hard to something allowed us to win. Even though our first Zergling flood was very late and we only went with half the unit, so it was a bit of a fail. Our follow-up macro was really good and we committed hard to our Roachling timing. And remember, you looked at it, you said, oh, I'm pretty sure I'm dead. I kind of thought you were dead as well. But the thing is, you were reinforcing, the AI was not reinforcing correctly. And yeah, you actually had like a bigger economy than it, so you could reinforce a lot more. And it was trying to tech up to Hydras like a dummy. So let's hop out of here. It's going to take too long to GG, so we can just leave. I'll give you the imaginary victory. You know. There you go. We get to still get that.
Yeah, you can put your best Loco voice on.
Yeah. It's a bloodbath. Plus 5 MMR for beating the Elite AI. There we go. Imaginary MMR, but we'll take it. Chemical Nova, thanks for the 5-month resub, Chemical Nova. Thank you very much. So did we get anyone in here who can help us out? Let's see. If anyone's there, I think Rabies Alex says, I'm a Plat 3 player. Awesome. Sweet.
So, yeah. I'll take a while thinking these days, so I'll my best.
No worries. We're not, like I said, it's not about winning, remember? All we're doing
Yep.
here is literally practicing the same way you'll be practicing on ladder.
Yep.
We care so little about winning. We just care about doing our shit in the right order. So I'm going to shut up completely this game.
Okay.
So, 2 key things.
Yep.
First one, what are you going to be saying to yourself from the very start of the game? What tiny
13,
thing?
13, fucking over.
Yeah. Exactly, yes. Yes, 13 overlord. Let's try and remember that. And then otherwise, you're just going for that big wave of Zerglings? Do you remember what supply you build all the Zerglings at?
34 to 44.
Beautiful. And what are you doing after you build those Zerglings?
Attack moving them, and then macroing.
And what's the next macro step?
Roach Warren, extra gas.
And what do we do when we take the Roach Warren and our second gas?
Put 2 drones back on the main gas.
Hells yeah. Awesome, man. I think we're ready.
Now, let's watch me fuck all that up.
By increments, we will fuck it up less and less, though.
Yep.
And we saw from that
Well,
last game, it was
Yeah.
awesome. Last game was really good, man.
I feel I am making progress. Yeah. I just like to be... So, yeah, it's just getting rid of that pressure on myself.
Exactly. It's just about, we're just treating this as practice. And like, that's the great thing about getting coaching is I will very immediately and incisively be like, we fucked this up, this up, this up, this up, this up, right? And that's from me playing StarCraft in the last 9 years nonstop, basically. So I can very quickly be like, you're doing 1,000 things wrong. And at first that can be like, oh man, I suck at this game. Then we quickly realize that when I look at my own games, I'm still pointing out a shitload of things like I did that wrong, I did that wrong, I did that wrong. So it never really ends. And this is why people always like see pro gamer interviews and they go like, oh, what the fuck? This player just we thought it was a hype game to watch, and the pros like, oh, I fucked this up. Like this game was a fucking mess. We're all like, we thought it was epic, but in their mind, they're still seeing all these mistakes. So we never play perfectly. It's literally about we start off as a base StarCraft player. We're in just a room and there's shit everywhere, and we're gonna start by like folding up 2 t-shirts off the ground and putting them in the drawer. That's that's step 1. And then we can like maybe get rid of the cockroach infestation in the other corner of the room and slowly clean it up until it's a living space. So just focus on that. Let's get that drone into Overlord. Let's go. Always prioritize getting your start going before you type to your opponent. And I'm going to shut the hell up and let you get that 13 Overlord, get your Overlords in position, and go punch some face. Good luck, have fun, man.
Roger.
So I'm going to shut up and just let him get in this mode. And it's like, but he's got an audience. There's going to be even more pressure. Yep. Which means it'll be even easier when he hops on ladder. Today's coaching session shall be named Don't Be a Sissy. That's what we're going to call it. Just do it. Not that he's being a sissy, but all of us need to constantly remind ourselves to be confident, make decisions, and just work on the details little bit by little bit. Because if we get too carried away going, oh, I'm not doing this well enough, or oh, should I do that like this or like that, we second guess ourselves and we start to fuck up our execution. You don't have time to actively solve problems. All you have time is to remember your pre-anointed game plan for the most part. We get that down, we get a framework, then we can start to learn how to react off of that. He's accidentally gone for his gas and pool a little bit late, but he's looking pretty good. Don't forget the pool wall. This is like so unimportant, Kabame, so I'm not going to tell him it, but he's kind of remembered. Unfortunately, there's a gap there and a gap there, so he does need to remember to put that right up against there to make it correctly. It still gives some cover, but not too bad. How are we doing, guys? Elite AI is basically sterile. How are we all doing? I play Zerg. I don't have to micro. Then infestors spawn. Shit. God damn. What do we do? Purpose of the pool wall is so you can plug it with a queen. If the pool's there, you put a queen there, Lings can't get in. But Lings can just run around the other side. Yep, they need to micro it. So you're automatically forcing them to do another action, even at GM. A lot of players are very busy doing other shit. They won't do that. The Lings will get choked up. At the very least, it buys a few seconds. And then if they come in from that side of the mineral line, you can stack your drones on the gas. If they end up fighting the queen, your drones can then attack the Zerglings, and they'll actually get surrounded by your workers. Just gives you safety in your mineral line. All right, guys. So did he pull off gas? Yeah. He's a bit high on saturation in his main, but what else? That's cool. Where's his third hatch? Looks like he's remembered it. And he's going to make mistakes. We just want him to kind of figure it out at his own pace, if you get what I'm saying, guys. We want him to just figure shit out little bit by little bit and slowly clean it up over time, right? It's not going to be perfect. Not going to be perfect. He's built Zerglings, but he hasn't control grouped them. He's starting his Zinkling production, maybe 1 or 2 supply earlier than you normally would, but that's totally fine. He's now starting to control group Zerglings. He should have boxed these lings and added them to his control group. He has not. So he's going to have 2 Zerglings that don't go across the map. That's all right. I feel like without me talking to him, he's actually playing this smoother. Isn't it better to put the queen in the middle of your drone line so you can surround it with drones? No. You can do that if your opponent doesn't look at all, but that will put it in a situation where they actually have pretty insane surface area on all your drones if you do that. It's actually something you can do in certain scenarios in an emergency and stuff, but it's not something we really want to aim to do. So he's gone Roach Warren. Where is drones? He's not droning. Where's his second gas and where's his putting back on gas? He's A moved. I don't know where he A moved to though. I'm trying to figure out where their A move command is. There should be a little red marker on the ground. I'm hoping it was towards the main. We can see here he's not looking at it. He just pulled back there. No, stop looking at it. He still hasn't put back on gas or taken his second gas.
Pay attention to your army. It's under attack.
Stop looking at it. He keeps looking at it. I'm not going to tell him, but he keeps looking at it. He was doing so good, and then and now he's just building more drones. Yeah, as soon as the fighting started, now he's remembering the gas. Yeah. He still hasn't put back on gas here. He's remembered now. But yeah, he just got super thrown off. He could already have so many roaches on the way. No, he's missing an opportunity. His lings did so much damage without him looking at them. Oh well, poo-poo happens.
Look at that. Your queen is ready.
Okay. Live game versus Rabies, Alex. Looked at Zerglings twice.
Hey, your forces are under
Bad.
attack.
Forgot back on gas and to take second gas.
Careful now. Their units are fighting yours.
So he's taking a really bad fight here, trying to defend a base. He's not calculating. There's no reason for him to fight for that third. You can look at that and say, I have way less units, but I've got heaps of roaches in production. If I sit back, maybe I can hold on, but I need to get my units together. So he both lost the hatch and bled a lot of units out there. He's building a few roaches, but he's got a crazy amount of lava. Let's see what he does. So he doesn't inject. He doesn't inject. He's building a few more roaches. He should be building Zerglings as well. He's trying to rebuild his third. Still, we just want to make roaches, lings, and go for a gigantic attack. No, now he's droning up. Don't divert from the initial plan. You should always just commit to your initial plan. Don't doubt it.
Roger.
You're doing really good. Keep building Zerglings, go across the map, keep injecting, gather everything together, try to kill him. No point overcomplicating it. I don't want this game to drag on for another 5 minutes. So he built another 5 workers there. He would have actually had a chance of this working, I think. Not a great chance, but a small chance if he didn't build those 5 workers and just built Zerglings instead. Still hasn't moved across the map here. Obviously it was supply blocked, so I kind of get it, but yeah, it's not going to work out. That's fine. But yeah, the big problem was just forgetting to put on gas and stuff and just kind of freezing up the moment the lings started fighting. So we need to just repeat this again and just take a deep breath and focus on what's important in the game. And that's what he's really struggling with. Like even right now, he's building roaches. Remember, just non-stop Zerglings from here. Let's move across the map and let's get this attack going. Go all in. He's doing pretty good, but he's just got to take a deep breath and stop getting distracted from the fights. Control Shift G, and this is Game Heart, not WCS overlay. Yo. I don't know if this works. I don't know if it works for Game Heart. So he's gone in with his lings ahead of his army. Big mistake there, unfortunately. And he's move commanding right now. Oof, ouch.
Solid job mining those minerals, but now they're gone.
All right, so looks like he's held on to the attack. We can go take a glance at that. Cool, we've lost the game. So we can tap out now. The attack didn't work. That was a really good start. Really good start. Perfectly clean. Super happy with that. Do you know where things went wrong off the top of your head?
Yes, that went well. I think when he started going off the rails.
Well before then. Well before then.
Yeah, I
What
know.
did, what did we? What did you forget? What did we forget? So our lings went across the map. First things first, you looked at them twice. You went and tried to micro them, and then kind of
Yep.
there were things you didn't do that you were meant to be doing at home while that happened. So what's the follow up when your lings go across the map? What do you do at home?
Roach Warren. And then
And
gas.
yeah,
Jack.
your gas was a minute and a half later,
Oh
and
shit.
your putting back on gas was also a minute and a half later.
Yeah.
So what happened is you built some drones, you built your roach horn, and then you kind of looked around your bases for about 10 seconds, where I could tell you were fighting the urge to look at the Zerglings, and then you looked at them anyway. And I was like, no, you're meant to be taking gas right now. Ignore the fight. Ignore it. So you were doing great. And the attack did huge damage, by the way. It was awesome trade for you. You attack moved it right into his main base, right?
No.
Initially. Remember to just attack it to his main base normally, and then just not look
yeah.
at it, because that way it's going towards the higher value target straight away.
Yep.
Even though it was good that you sniped the third with it, but just do that. Don't look at it that way. You don't need to look at it. Remember, and just remember. Okay, cool. Those guys are going across the map. Build drones. Build a roach horn, a second gas, and put back on gas. So that's awesome, because up to there you did a very clean build. So that's just awesome. We had the first one down. We saw where we diverted from the build and didn't do it properly. That's what we focused on this time. And this was great. And it's really good practice, because we're playing against a live opponent. It's not an AI, and we're not looking at our army. Not just that. Rabies is the same level as you on ladder. Has been watching the coaching. He knows exactly what you're going to do. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if we win or lose. Doesn't matter if he's super over prepared or not. I guarantee you it is just about doing the build. And that opening was flawless up until we forgot the gases. And then because of that, we went, oh, I've got to get the gases. Then you built more drones. We were meant to be building roaches because we didn't have enough gas to build a lot of roaches. And then everything slowed down, and he got the third, and we took a few bad fights. But if we just had that gas down, your roaches would be spilling out in huge numbers as his attack comes, and it would have played perfectly into your hands. So let's just do that again. And let's just focus on this. This is not about winning or losing. Our ego is not on the line. Purely about practice. And I'm already so impressed by the last the first 4 minutes of that last game was flawless. Let's carry it through again. Let's see if we can repeat that. So remember the 13 Overlord?
Yep.
Good luck. Have fun.
When's the gas go down the expo?
Just at the same time as the Roach Warren. So you can drop it in your main base if you want to. We just need one extra gas. So it's just a Roach Warren and a second gas. And we put back on gas all at the same time. So it's just after our Zerglings go across the map, Roach Warren, back on gas, and take that second gas. Good luck, man.
Thanks, man.
He's doing really good, actually. He's doing really good. Ryzen says he needs to do this verse AI 25 times. I don't think so. I think that's a really... It's not bad, but I actually think you should do this against live opponents. Because what do you have to lose? Why play 25 times against AI when you could play 25 times against human? And the reason most people like the AI, and most people, maybe half of all StarCraft players will do this, right? They'll do what you do, Ryzen. They say, well, there's less on the line, I'm more focused, etc., etc. The thing is, I'm always a big fan of trying to practice more things at once. And I feel like, I was talking about this a lot at the start, I'm not sure if you were here. I feel like one of the best things, sorry guys, we can focus on as a player is actually not caring about winning or losing and just playing the game and changing the goalposts from, I don't care about the victory screen, I care about doing X, Y, Z nicely. Doesn't matter if my opponent's harassing me or my opponent, there's another guy and what's he doing, and I'm freaking out. Doesn't matter. We put all of that out of our mind, and that as well is a really, really useful thing. So I think this is still a really contained, slow situation where there's not a lot going on. And especially with a nice aggressive build, I think that's really great. So I think this is like the perfect, let's try and take on more. Let's be ambitious. Let's learn more than one thing at once. I think this is like a way to make sure we don't build the ladder up into being something scary. I think that's like one of the most dangerous things. And I think it's also something where people go, oh, but what if I lose my hard-earned rank or my MMR? And I go, that's a good thing. We shouldn't be attached to that, because that just means it makes practice even easier for us while we learn these new skills, right? So it means if we're learning a new skill, we can start getting okay at it and we can take it on ladder, And we might get stomped, and it can be a little bit demotivating if we're like, oh, I think I'm good enough at this. Let's take it to the ladder and see if it works. But I think if we can focus on it in terms of saying, doesn't matter, I'm learning it on the ladder. Guess what? I'm 300 MMR below where I was a week ago. Hey, I've started winning games. Then you can gradually start winning games even while you're still learning the basic stuff. So I think it's really good. Oh, I am watching the wrong guy. I thought that was a bit weird. Thank you, guys. I was like, oh, yeah, he's done the opening slightly different this game. No worries.
A new queen has emerged.
Thank you. Dingo, thanks for the 6-month resub, man. Appreciate the support. Welcome to the pigsty. You do a mix of both. Getting cheese when you're trying to learn a new build order can be frustrating. Absolutely. I think a little bit of practicing in an empty game is really nice. And I especially with like a big macro build, I think that's really good. But like for Super Sloth, who I coached a week ago, and he said he's played no ladder games since then, I say, nope. This is a player who's got a mental block over ladder. Like, why are we going a week without playing a ladder game? That's crazy. Now, I think he did say work or something came up. Something got busy and distracted him.
Evolution, your units are taking damage.
All right, so gather your Zerglings. We're going to do a counter Zergling all in, okay? So we're going to roll with the punches. Just keep building Zerglings. Build one more Overlord. And let's go attack move to his main base and just change your rally point to just outside his base and just keep rallying Zerglings. Inject lava, rally build Zerglings. Inject lava, build Zerglings. A move. Okay. And we're going to kill him. So if things go terribly wrong at the start, just going for a really straightforward all-in is a great way to do it. A move into his main. Come on. Into the main base. Use the mini-map. Always click right into their main base. Get in there. Smash it.
Your queen is here.
What I did.
Your forces are under attack.
Hey, he's got like a decent little angle here. He's actually got a really good angle. So yeah, he had like a few Zerglings sitting in his main and stuff. He's got Zerglings sitting there. You've still got to set the rally point on your hatcheries to his base.
Yeah.
And just keep injecting and building Zerglings. We've got a lot of Lings just chilling at home. No interference, cheese, you can just focus on the build order. Yeah, that's a good way to do it, Ryzen, especially if you're on like a laggy connection or something. I just think 25 games is too many. Like, you know, if you're on like a terrible computer, you're not really able to practice on ladder, it's like, yeah, fair enough. But I think it's really good to practice the right mindset of staying focused no matter what the distractions are. So definitely want him to be a little bit more ambitious. Oh, he hasn't A-moved into the back of the base, so his units are kind of derping. Looks like he did A-move them just then. That's good. Just holding down the Zergling key and A-moving. This could easily get him well past Platinum in ZVZ. Because most players just like are afraid of Banelings, so they don't use them, but they also don't learn how to build a wall off or defend against Zerglings. So it's very common right through to High Diamond.
I didn't know I was winning.
Hells yeah, man. Decisive. You know what happens, right? So I can see, because he's a very similarly skilled player, I can see what happens the moment we get into this situation. Like just there, game started off terribly wrong. Our Overlords weren't in position. We didn't realize that he was coming with a bunch of Zerglings. Ideally, we would have just ran our drones out of our natural rather than fighting, because we took a really bad fight. Ideally, we would have had a few more Zerglings ready. We could have just built a few Lings ahead of time. No worries. He hit us just slightly earlier than we were ready. Like you were about to have a ton of Lings ready, okay? But what did we do? We just said, game squelched. Let's go for the fastest possible counter all in and just commit everything to it.
All right, yeah.
When the game seems chaotic and out of our control, you choose the simplest, most all-in thing and you just do it and commit to it. It's the easiest way. As you get higher level and more advanced and more experience, you can start picking out other more advanced things to do to try and get back into the game. But in this case, like, just counter with Zerglings. Terran does a Hellion run by, kills like all your drones. Oh, well, I've got some roaches out. Okay, just keep building roaches and Zerglings and just try to kill him, you know? Like, just go.
So in essence, it's like, well, in other words, the best defense is offense.
Yeah, especially because we don't have an economy anymore. So anytime you just feel like your base is being torn up a bit suddenly, obviously after the game, we should say, let's stop that happening in the first place. But in the heat of the moment there, the ability to have a very clear thing to focus on is great. If you kept trying to do your roach plan, you'd be like, shit, I have no minerals because I don't have any drones. Oh, I've got to rebuild 15 drones, then go for the roach warren. There's a lot of calculations that have to go on. Let's keep it real simple and straightforward. So that was a good one, man. We managed to kind of get back on top of that. It was a good opening. Let's do it again. Let's just keep grinding this opening. 13 Overlord again. Getting the hatcheries down on time. This is really good. Let's do it, man. Getting in that rhythm.
Yep. Good. Let's, I know what I have to do. It's just a matter of actually getting.
Yeah. StarCraft is juggling 27 balls at once. So, you know, we're always going to drop a few. Let's just try and drop one less every couple of games.
And we're men, so we don't really multitask that well.
There's probably science saying that's a myth at this point, but I don't know, man. Seems like a good one. I'll hang on to that as well.
I think it's true.
Quite definitely possible. Good luck, have fun, man. Just get in that rhythm. You got the Overlord on the way. This is great. We're getting the Overlords across the map. Let's smash it. Yeah, this is awesome. This is awesome because he's gonna feel a bit more relaxed when he's doing this on his own on ladder. At least I hope he will. But yeah, the big reason I was really pressing us, just kind of saying, move the units, don't look at them, practice the build, do it versus live opponents, do it on ladder every day. We don't want ladder to be a big scary thing. There's no reason why it should be a big scary thing. I remember I played one season of tennis when I was like 13. And it was very awkward because I was double the size of the other kids because I had a growth spurt pretty early. Maybe I was only 12. And I was basically as tall as I am now when I was 12 years old, right? I have not grown in height since I was 12. I was a very young bloomer. Everyone always thought I was an old man when I was a kid. Like, fucking, I used to buy booze for everyone when I was like 16. Yeah. Where was that story going? Basically, playing tennis for the first time. It was awkward because the kids were half my size and everyone thought I was some sort of like special man child that was going to beat up their children. I'm like, it's tennis. I can't hurt your kid. It's not a contact sport. But I didn't even like tennis that much and I was really bad at it. I didn't even know how to serve properly. So I played this one season of tennis and I still remember just the weird feeling as someone who played a ton of soccer, field hockey, a bit of rugby, bunch of other sports growing up. But finally playing a 1v1 sport, it was a very different feeling when it's just you and one other person. And like I'd played chess very casually as well, but it wasn't the same. So I was like, I do remember it being a bit weird and intimidating when it's just you one-on-one, especially like if that person starts to fuck you up, it's very easy to be like, well, this guy's just way better than me. And then to be like, oh, I can't possibly beat them. So anyway, it was like a real interesting thing. And I get that for a lot of people, StarCraft's the first time they've really gone into this sort of 1v1 head-to-head competition like this, even though a lot of people grow up playing group sport or group competitions. And I feel like it is a little bit different. It is a little bit different. He's building some Zergs. Oh, he control grouped them. Oh, where's the third hatchery, though? Let's get that third hatch down. Doing awesome. It's the one thing I was going to tell him there, and I should have held back. I didn't even need to tell him that. Yeah, the old high school booze orders. It was always the cheapest vodka. I would buy the cheapest scotch, VAT 69 at the time. Passion Pop, super cheap sparkling wine. Used to be $3 a bottle, $2.50 sometimes actually. I think it was like $2.50, something like $2. They're like $6 now. I'm like, what? It's literally just sugar. It's like bubbly alcoholic sugar. You couldn't get away with calling this champagne, no matter how much you want to. It is. Oof. You're like, this is what teenager alcohol tastes like. All right, I really wanted to get this going. He's still building Zerglings, which he should not be, but his third died, so he's lost track of where he is in the game. That's fine. Let's see if he finds where he is in the game. Roach Horn, second gas, back on gas is what he should be doing now, right? So look at him. He's kind of staring at his queens. He's hearing the attack commands and he's panicking. He's trying to select those Zerglings right now. Roach Warren. It should be chained up with second gas and back on gas. He should also be building more drones, which he's forgotten. Nah. Stop. Don't you fucking dare look at it. I was about to unmute and scream at him. I was going to be like, don't look at the Zerglings. You let them do whatever the fuck they want to do, mate. They'll get the job done on their own. Still hasn't put back on gas.
Their units are fighting yours. Well played.
I wasn't even watching what was going on.
All right. So, quick little habit we should work on.
Yep.
Don't ever click score screen. That button is the fucking devil, all right? All right? That button is the devil. Do not consort with the devil. You always click return to game.
Okay.
And then you finish doing what you were doing. Because if you do that, you're forced to look at what you forgot. You're like, oh, suddenly the intensity's gone. Guess what? We didn't put back on gas in our main base. We also didn't keep droning. So it took us a long time to remember Roach Warren and second gas, but at least we remembered them. But we weren't droning while that happened. We just had like 10 lava sitting there. We were up to like 700 minerals when that game finished just then.
Yeah.
And we forgot to put back on gas. Was it a step up? Fuck yes, that was way better than the previous couple of games, where every game we're getting a little bit better.
Yep.
You still glanced at the Zerglings once. And I was about to unmute, and I was going to be like, I was like, Sloth, stop it. No. And you immediately looked home, and I was so proud. It was like a mother watching her baby stand up and walk for the first time. I was like, yes, you didn't micro it. I was really happy with that. That was awesome, man. So it was a good game. Isn't that crazy? You just won. You're like, oh, well, I didn't even look at the fighting. And apparently they won the game for me.
The reason I had that quick look was like, I sort of wanted just like 1 or 2 seconds to see if it was working or whether it was completely shut down.
Mm-hmm.
That's why anyway.
Yeah, and that's not terrible by any means. Not terrible. Oh, rabies is gone. Oh.
Yeah. And then so
he said before that was going to be the last one.
Yeah.
Okay, no worries. It wasn't a rage quit. Thank you, rabies. I appreciate the help.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
I was like, oh shit, did you just make him rage? I was like, oh no.
So yeah, that was my thinking because I wanted to look at it just for like a couple of seconds to know, okay, well, am I getting, or does that even matter? Like, sorry, I'll finish. So I was looking at it to go, okay, well, has it completely shut this down? Is it doing nothing? Is it doing damage? Just so I know where I was at. Is that worth it, or is it just, it doesn't matter?
I think it's worth it, but you need to be better at your build first, right? So the problem is you weren't droning. You were just sitting there not spending your money, and you'd forgotten to put back on gas. If you'd done both of those things and then looked at it to check, I'd be like, awesome. So it's just a matter of like what's most important, and those things are a bit higher on the order of like, we need to get those down first. But looking at it, just get an idea of what's going on. That's normally that'll be something we do every game, right? As you get better, you'll even be microing a bit. You'll be like, oh, there's some banelings, dodge the banelings, split some zerglings to get on the baneling while the other lings run around, and you can get super advanced. So it's just one step lower on the priority below remembering the transition of the Roach Warren. Yeah, so basically, I think you got thrown off because he killed your hatch at the start and you had to rebuild it. But let's try and remember. So you build your Zerglings, you're sending them across the map. What do we do immediately behind that?
Roach Warren, gas.
Roach Warren, take a gas and...
Put drones back on gas.
Indeed. And we're droning that whole time as well. So I think because you built a few extra Zerglings because you were like, whoa, defending your third, putting your third back down, it's naturally going to cause you to make more mistakes when things go a bit, whoa, unexpected. Okay?
I definitely feel there's, that feels like progress.
Let's look at the replay, actually. Hop out of that game. I want to watch that last replay because I think it's massive progress. We're doing good. We are out of time, aren't we? We'll very quickly watch this replay because I just want to point out one last thing.
Yep.
And that is, oh shit, man, I keep getting thrown off because my opponents run 6 slings in, they kill some shit, yada yada. Oh, okay.
When he killed the third, I saw that because I saw his Zergling come in. I was like, I went to attack. I was like, no, I've only got 3 Zergling. Fuck it, I'll cancel it, make 4 Zerglings, defend it, and then remake it. That was my thinking. And
it was perfect. That's much better. Whereas the previous game, you both lost your third and you kind of sent like 2 roaches in at a time to die. Where if you just lost the third in that previous game before and given it up but kept your roaches together, you might have been able to break him with the follow-up push. But you ended up feeding him like 9 roaches and they killed maybe 2 Zerglings between them because they went in a couple at a time. So looking at your overlords is what I just wanted to take a look at because we keep getting a bit surprised by the Zerglings. Not just that. I feel like we're a bit random with when you're building your first couple of Zerglings in the game, right? So you go your 2 queens, you start your ling speed. Normally we'd start like 4 or 6 Zerglings straight away, right? Just to contest any early Zerglings coming across the map. This is not like a big all-in pressure. This is literally him just walking, I think it was only 6 lings across the map.
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Yeah, this is like just the most standard poking / keeping yourself safe force, all right? So
Okay,
if you just built your normal 6 lings, and you need to just make sure you remember that. So I can look at that and I can say, well, why are we building Zerglings at a different time every single game? That's a little thing I've noticed. I'm like, oh, this isn't consistent. Therefore, if we don't define it and start doing it at the same time, it's going to continue to be super random. In some games, you'll have 10 Zerglings. Some games, you'll have none. And sometimes they'll be built as soon as the pool's done. Sometimes you won't build them till link speed's finished and you just lose your third base for free for no reason, right?
Yep.
Also, in this game, your third was just a little bit late. So if it was started earlier, it would have had more hit points and then it wouldn't have died. Wouldn't have had to cancel it.
I just let out.
Yeah. So we can just say, okay, you need to remember as well. What's another thing? What do we need to remember? I'll write in your document. At pool finishing.
Yep.
What do you start when your pool finishes?
Zerglings.
2 queens, 6 lings, and then ling speed in that sort of priority. And as long as we do that every time, it'll be sweet.
Okay. That's cool because I'm noticing, like, I have a game plan, like a timeline. If we put it as a timeline, right? I get to a certain time, I know what to do. Get the next timeline, I know what to do. So, like, 13 Overlord, make the second as soon as you get the minerals, and then I'll get to a gap from like, I don't know what I'm doing. And that's when I start winging it.
Exactly.
So if I can get that timeline nice and smooth, then that's...
Yeah, I was talking to my mate who plays a fair bit of StarCraft the other day. We were just talking because we both love like learning new things, and we both love StarCraft. So we always talk about learning and stuff, inevitably. And we were just having a chat, and he was saying how one of the favorite things that he likes is like when you're learning a new skill, whether it be an instrument or StarCraft, because he does a lot of music as well. And like it's always like it's so hard, it just doesn't quite work, and your fingers aren't doing the thing. But there's always this point where you've practiced it enough and you've done it over and over and you just trusted that if you practice it in a calm enough way without getting annoyed that you're not learning fast enough, because we always want to learn faster, right? We're like, oh, I just want it to be natural. I want it.
Oh, yeah,
but
man.
Then you feel it settle. You feel like the layer of knowledge settle, and you just hop into a game one day or you pick up a guitar and it just naturally happens and your fingers do it and you're like, oh, and it's like the best feeling because like it's like where this knowledge has settled and it's just become this thing that automatically happens. You don't even need to think about it, and suddenly you feel so good. And that's like one of the most satisfying things. And that's what you're doing here. That's exactly what you were just saying with the timeline, right? Okay, we got the 13 Overlord. It's become automatic. That layer has kind of settled. Now we're going to settle the next layer, which is getting these lings out at the exact right time and then moving them across the map. All right, that's settled in. And we kind of just get all these little levels that are building up the structure of a more solid opening, some really good fundamentals. And this is a nice aggressive game plan. So you very well could use this build order in every matchup, by the way.
Yeah, I plan on it.
Every Terran, every Protoss you play, I reckon a lot of people just die to 20 Zerglings running across the map, to be honest. And then the Roachling afterwards is going to be really powerful. So is this something we're going to do for 3 months straight? No. But depending on how many games, maybe you do this for a whole 30 ladder games. Maybe even more than 30. Maybe 50 ladder games, just depending on how you're feeling. Maybe you start branching off whenever you feel like doing it in one matchup. You're like, nah, against Terran, I'm going to go for straight for Roaches or Hydras or whatever the hell you feel like, right? Yeah. But that should be awesome, and I think this is really productive because what did we do? Number one, we said, who gives a shit if there's an opponent playing us? We're just focused on doing our thing better, and that's it, right? When we finish the game, we're not going to click score screen. We're going to click resume game. Finish the things that you are doing. You've always got a backlog of shit that you haven't gotten around to doing yet. Do the next few things on your list just so you can it's like rehearsing them. You're ticking them off. You're saying, remember, put back on gas, build the 10 roaches, get them together. Okay, cool. Now I can leave the game, once I've got the few next steps ready.
I always wondered why you did that. Now I know.
Yeah, I get asked it a lot. People are like, why are you still in the game? Did you know he left? And I'm like, it's practice. Sometimes I will stay in the game to kill their shit as well. That's also fun.
Hey, that's what I do because I'm like... If I have a really frustrating game and I'm like, you know what? I worked so hard to come and kill this shit, I'm going to kill it.
Yeah, you stop one push and they just GG. You're like, no, you're not getting out that easily. I'm going to come kill all of your workers. Exactly. Awesome, man. All right, well, I got a jet, but this was a good little sesh. And I feel like you're coming along well. So keep being patient, keep working on it. And just shoot me an email whenever you feel ready to book in another.
Yeah, that was awesome. Thanks, buddy.
Have a good day, man. Enjoy the rest of your week.
See you, mate.
Awesome. Good little sesh there. I really